get ready to regroup and practice today after obviously being off on Sunday, and yesterday was just a lift day and kind of get your mind away from the regular season and prepare for the postseason day, and just do our best to prepare as well as we can and go into the tournament with a clear mind, which is the only thing we can control, and go out there and figure out a way to trust in who we are, not just through this season, but in the past, to try and find confidence that obviously we've struggled to find as we've gone through our journey this year.
Dave?
Hey, Frank, thanks for doing this. Hope you and the team are feeling good. You've had AJ for 3 years now. What has he meant to you and to this program?
Yeah, he's a great young man. I mean, it's he was a highly regarded recruit that chose to come here to make himself better. I think he's done that. I think he's frustrated this year. He knows how hard he's worked and how hard we try to work collectively. I'm not talking we coaches. I'm talking about our organization. He spent his first 2 years here learning how to grow as a person, because he was a baby when he got here, and to get better and grow and become more of a man, and continue to improve as a player. And I think he's done that every year. It's I just feel bad that wins and losses and everything that this year's thrown at him has kind of derailed his greatest goal, which was to for us to keep winning. And but he's improved as a player, and I'm really proud of him. And we got one more shot this year to make the year work out, and I know he's excited about playing here as we start preparing today. At least he appeared to be earlier this morning when I spent some time with him.
Colin?
Hey, Frank, and I know this year's obviously been a struggle just from a wins and losses standpoint. As a staff, as a head coach, have you figured out kind of the main issues there, and how do you go about correcting those in a short time period from the end of the regular season and now into the postseason?
Yeah, Colin, I wins and losses have been the least of the struggles this year. It's dealing with people. It's dealing with spirits. It's dealing with 18-year-olds losing loved ones. It's dealing with a player that wasn't allowed to play the rest of the season. It's dealing with an atmosphere of individuality where everyone's isolated and sequestered. It's dealing with a bunch of 18, 19, 20-year-olds that are trying to figure out why they got to get their nose stabbed every single day so they can play. It's dealing with 7 weeks of not being able to practice and create an identity. Those have been the struggles. It's dealing with academic struggles because guys don't sign up to do academics on a computer sitting in their bedroom. They sign up to go to class and get the instruction that they need. They sign up to live the life of a college student, to get the tutoring assignments and the academic meetings in person, not locked up in their apartments by themselves. It's winning and losing after I just threw everything at you is the last thing on the plate that we've struggled with. Now, the fact that the world wants to judge us on our record, that's their prerogative, and do whatever they want to do. We've had a difficult year internally, difficult year. This is a winning program. We haven't had a good year from a winning game standpoint, but there's nothing broken. We just, we just got to figure out a way to have a positive mindset heading into this week. Figure out a way to put the last 11 months, almost 12 months, in the rearview mirror, and just say, you know what, let's just kind of do this best thing we can this week and see how long this journey takes us. And that's the mindset going in. That's the That's what we're trying to create here over the next 48 hours to get us ready for our game Thursday night. So I'm excited. I haven't seen all the players today. I've seen about 5 or 6 of them. Sounds like they're excited. Came across that way. Life is all about being at peace and being confident. Well, the last 11 months have not allowed us to be at peace. And then when you're not at peace, it's hard to gain confidence. And, we've struggled to have confidence in what we do this year. So it's we just have to figure out a way to be at peace for the next 2 days, so we can have a completely different mindset than we probably had going into the Kentucky game. That's kind of where we're at.
Michael?
Frank, going into this tournament, I know you had a couple of guys who were banged up last game. Do you expect to be at full health going into this week? And then also just, looking at Ole Miss, I know Schuler had a big game against you guys last time. What's the key to sort of containing them defensively in that game?
Yeah, I mean, I thought we defended them pretty good for a while. Last time we played, we couldn't score. And then we hit that dead period, within the game, where that lack of scoring, which has been a challenge for us all year, then impacted our spirit. And Devontae and the Romello White smelled it. They're both senior 4-year starters, even though Romello started for 3 years at another school. They're old. And they smelled it. And when they smelled it, they went at us and created the separation, which ended up making the difference of the game. We got to figure out a way to score. And breaking down the film of that game back then, and then doing it again over Sunday and yesterday, we had some good opportunities offensively, just didn't make them. And you have to score. If you don't score, teams that don't score then have to be the mentally toughest. Like my excuse me, my 3rd year here, we would struggle to score. We were all sophomores, but we were mentally tough dudes. And I told my staff, because none of them were on my staff at the time, we lost a game to Texas A&M. And they had Daniel House and Alex Caruso and those guys. And we lost to them like 57-49, 57-50, something like that. I couldn't be prouder of the guys on my team that day. Why? Because we couldn't score. But man, their resolve, their relentless toughness, their unity wouldn't let A&M score. And we just, at the end, we just couldn't score enough. But I knew then, like, this group of guys has what it takes. That's what we lack on our team right now is we got to score. That's bottom line. And are we going to be all intact? I'm concerned about a couple injuries, but we haven't made those decisions yet.
Rick?
Hey, Frank, you talked about getting the proper mindset here over the next 48 hours. As you talk to the team and meet with the team, what things are you going to stress, or what examples are you going to use with them to show them that you believe they can go to the tournament and put together their best stretch of basketball this season?
Yeah, the fact that the team that won the league, we're right there to beat them. Like, we're good enough. We've had really good moments of basketball this year, I'm talking about. And then piggyback on that and ask them to reflect back on, we got some guys that have been here for 3 years. We got one guy, Justin, that's been here for 4, even though he's had two seasons cut because of injury. But ask them to reflect back on the mindset that it takes to play in postseason. Because whether you're 21 and 0 or 0 and 21, the postseason is a different animal than the regular season. It's a completely different. Your mindset your mind has to be in a place of excitement, not a place of concern. And that's what I'm going to be focused in on for the next 2 days, Rick, is to get them to separate the regular season from what's in front of them by using the previous years of our experiences to get them to remember that. Because the easy thing to remember is yesterday. We're always so wrapped up with yesterday that we forget about the previous 2-3 years. And sometimes yesterday gets us in trouble for today because we're too wrapped up on the good or the bad. And in reality, we got to be excited about today and then trust on everything that we've been through to give us peace to handle today and enthusiasm to handle today. And that's kind of where I'm coming from with the players here for the next couple of days.
Mike Uva.
Frank, I know throughout the season, especially when you talked about, playing Ole Miss, I mean, you guys have struggled at times being able to stop the other team's guard. And I know that's something that, in past years, that's something that you guys have took pride in being able to stop, taking away their best player, especially at the guard position.
Yep.
Being able to go back and watching film these last couple of weeks, is that something that has been maybe the lack of effort or just lack of execution more so?
It's a mindset. I don't know if it's effort. It's a mindset. It's Dwayne Notice had never been asked to defend the way I asked him to defend, but he had the mindset to go do it. And he grew into becoming one of the elite perimeter defenders in the country. Thornwell, no one ever asked him to guard, but he had the mindset. PJ Dozier, by the way, who I just spent an hour with this morning, we're laughing about how bad he was defensively as a freshman. And now he's in the NBA because he defends anyone from a point guard to a power forward, not because he was a McDonald All-American in high school, but because he defends. And that's been the part that's been frustrating, is that, we've got guys like going back to who we were last year. We weren't elite defensively, but we had the right mindset. And for whatever reason, we have not been able to piggyback on that experience to make this one better this year from that standpoint. And that's been the frustrating thing as a coach, is trying to figure that one out. I've got my opinions as to what I could have done better, and which is my job. My job's not to worry about what people think. My job is to be honest with myself as to where I have not done my job properly. But this is not the moment for me to be wrapped up in that emotion. That's something you do when the season ends. Not now. Right now, I got to do my job better today so I can help these guys today, not worry about September, November, January, or next month. Worry about today. And that's what Mike, that's what my mindset is right now. But that's been the most frustrating part for me, is that we had guys with the mindset of becoming a Dwayne Notice and a Sindarius defensively last year. And those same guys this year, it kind of, that whole thing has wavered, and it's it's been hard. It's been hard to put my arms around that one. I've got an opinion, and I'll share with you guys what that opinion is when the season ends. This is just not the time for me to reflect on how I could, do my job better when I'm still in the middle of my job.
Phil.
Can somebody help Phil there, please? It's the weekly problem. Phil.
Hey, Phil, we can't hear you, so we'll circle back. Colin, why don't you go ahead?
Emily, you can be the press person for the president. Let's circle back. She circles back a lot.
I'm glad I can be the one to circle back too. Frank, how would you evaluate your point guard play this season, and what do you want to see from them in the tournament that kind of makes you feel comfortable with them giving you guys a chance to win?
Yeah, I'm not in a place of reflecting right now as to evaluate that kind of stuff. I tend to do that at the end of the season. I'm not into yesterday, I'm into today. And then whenever the season ends, then I'll put the whole thing together. It's been inconsistent. It has not been, you know, a lot of our, what's the word I'm looking for? Issues, I think have been a lack of connectivity. I don't even know if that's a word. It sounds good. Between me and point guards. And that's something, I say this all the time. You go back in my history coaching, whether it's in high school, I've always been connected at the hip with my point guards. You go into my career as a head coach in college, and I've been, you know, whether it's Denny Clemente, Jacob Pullen, Angel Rodriguez, then eventually here, Ty Johnson, Sindarius, Dwayne Notice, PJ Dozier, Raw Felder, you know, all the different guys, even the 1-year guy that Trey Campbell, when he first got here, we weren't connected. But by the end of that year, we were connected. And last year, the reason our team became what I thought was a pretty darn good team by the end of the year, definitely a postseason team, was that me and Jermaine connected. And I don't know if it's COVID, I don't know what it is, but we have not, it's not just me and Jermaine, it's me and everyone else I've played at the point. There's not that connection that I've always had as a head coach with the point guards on my team. And I think that's been a big part of, you know, where some of our, I don't want to say struggles, but inconsistencies have been
All right, Phil?
Can you hear me now?
at. God. Phil,
The beautiful thing.
you figured out how to hit that button on your computer. We all have hope.
Yeah, well, there's progress for everybody. Fair or not, your job status is subject for conversation locally, nationally. Your name's come up with some other jobs as well. Have you and Ray Tanner had a chance to speak at all about the future? Do you need more of a commitment from South Carolina since you're down to, I think, 2 years on your contract after this year? What's your feeling, your confidence level on being back as South Carolina's coach?
I mean, Phil, you just took an easy question and you complicated it. I mean, holy cow. Phil, I've been here 9 years. So if anyone has the opinion that I'm trying to chase other jobs, I wouldn't have been here for 9 years. This is my home. My family loves it here. I love it here. We've lived here for 9 years. So, you know, I'm not going to sit here and brag about who we are as a family, but we have given ourselves to this community to help this. I said it from day one. I don't want to be known as the basketball coach. I want to be known as a member of this community. And it's what we've done. From a basketball standpoint, Phil, here's my thing. And anyone that knows me knows I don't do contracts in the middle of the season. That's not what I do. I don't engage in my personal conversations. That'd be like our players talking to people about transferring while the season's going on. I'm not a hypocrite. I don't do that. So at the end of my third year here, no one at the university approached me about a contract. And I had 3 years left on my contract at the time. No one came up to me and said, hey, Frank, we see what you're building, blah, blah, blah. You know, nobody. We see who you're recruiting. We like this. Nobody. No one said a word to me. I didn't go home and worry about it. And if you remember correctly, I think it was Joe. I don't even know if Joe's on the call. You know, he asked me a question about my job status back then, and I started laughing. I was like, really? Is this what we're doing? So I'm sharing all that with you because you asked me a complicated question, and I'm trying to give you my mindset. So I don't worry about that stuff. When my third year here ended, I went into my fourth year. And then after my fourth year, I met with administration, and 2 days later, I signed a new contract. Okay. After this year, I've got 2 years left, just like I did that one time. Those are not my decisions. If you want to know where my stance is at, I don't care what you read in the media and all that. My name's been involved in a job every year I've been here. Every single year I've been here, you've heard my name involved for some job. I've never talked to another school other than the one that you know of, which is the University of Cincinnati. I asked for permission and I spoke, and a day later I pulled out of the job. So I think I've been here for 9 years. I think that everyone should know where I stand. Now, where does the university stand? That's not for me to answer because I'm not them. And number two, I'm not having those talks with people right now. I will when the season ends. And, you know, anyone that wants to discredit what we've done, I'm willing to argue it. You know, you know, if I've got to explain to people our successes, then those are people that aren't convinced I'm the basketball coach, that I need to be the basketball coach here. But I'll give you a couple things real quick, Phil, since nobody wants to report these, I'll share them with you, even though I don't do social media right now. I never do in the season. And with all due respect, I'm not reading your guys' stuff right now. I rarely do during the season, unless one of you asks me some crazy question, then I'm gonna go find out what you wrote from the question that you asked. But, you know, when you take into consideration that before this crazy year, the previous 5 years, it's the first time that 6 years. It's the first time there's been 6. I'm gonna use this word because it's the most accurate way of saying it. Non-losing season since the 70s. The last 5 years, we have the third most SEC wins, third most in the SEC. Everyone says, well, one postseason in 9 years. Okay, yeah, you could say that. That's what paper, when you write it down. Well, you know, when I got here 9 years ago, you could have hired Coach K, Pat Riley, and Phil Jackson as the staff. If they cheated, they would have fixed the problem a lot quicker. But we didn't cheat. And when you build things without cheating, it takes time. And, you know, first 3 years, we had no chance of being a postseason team. Maybe at the end of my third year, we could have been an NIT team. We were in an NCAA team. Then the following year, we gave the school the winningest season in the history of the university. Then the following year, just for the hell of it, Phil, we gave the school another record for number of wins. And, you know, I told you guys the other day, I don't need to explain a Final Four. After the Final Four, we kind of hit the reset button and we got really young. I took the grad transfers to get through that year. I believe I shared that with you guys in a postseason press conference. And we got really young the following year and we redid it. And then last year, we're a postseason team again. But unfortunately, just like every school in the country, we couldn't finish the last chapter of our book last year. So we were deprived of that opportunity, but we were a postseason team. And now you take this year, and this has been a complete you-know-what show from day one. It's been incredible. And so I'm giving you a long answer because you asked me a complicated question, because it's two sides. It's my side and the other side. I think, you know, I would hope that you know where I stand, me and my family. And at the end of the day, Phil, I'm going to visit with my bosses who I respect tremendously when the season ends, with the people who run this university. And they know where I stand because they all know that I've had countless opportunities to leave and I've chosen not to even talk, let alone leave. And this is our home. This is what we love. And when the time comes, like I've done every year since I've been here, heck, I did it at K-State when I took the South Carolina job. I didn't talk to Eddie Fogler, who's a friend of 20 years. I didn't speak with him until my season was done at K-State. And I've done the same thing every year I've been here. So, you know, they know I don't speak to them, them being the people who run the university. I'm not going to speak to them during the season. I just won't do it. I didn't do it at K-State. I haven't done it here. I'm not going to start this year. When the season ends, I'll have those conversations. And if I'm wanted, this is what I want to call home. You don't live somewhere for 9 years and invest yourself in the community the way my family has tried to do and develop the friendships that we've developed and run away from that. It's, you know, and if you know anything about me, Phil, you know, I fixed this program and I know what's not working this year, but the program ain't broke. So whenever I can hit the reset button, We fixed it once from a bad situation. We'll fix it again.
Mitch?
Obviously, you're talking about up the season or after the season. Let's talk about the postseason. Do you believe that or subscribe to the notion that no matter how hot you're going into the SEC tournament, or how much you're struggling, that it's a new season? I'm not sure what you told your team, but do you subscribe to that notion that you can get hot in March? Anything happens in March?
Oh, absolutely. It's Mitch, I've been coaching on teams that went into the conference tournament playing well and lost in the first game they played. And I coach teams that went into the conference tournament kind of limping in there, like Senderis's freshman year. We were playing good ball at the end of the year. We beat Kentucky. Oh, by the way, Phil, one other thing. 20 top 25 wins since I've been here. Just in case you're keeping score on our, since nobody reports the good, they only want to report that we've had a disappointing season this year. Just something else I thought I'd throw at you. But Senderis's freshman year, we beat Kentucky. We went nose to nose with Florida on Tuesday when they were number one in the country. I got suspended after that game, went on the road without me on the sideline, which was probably celebrated by a lot of people, but those players loved the fact that they were still playing and they represented us and won. And then went into the conference tournament in a season that was a losing season and won the first two and went nose to nose with Tennessee on Friday. And Tennessee ended up being a Sweet 16 team and went nose to nose with them. And then there's a year we go to the Final Four. We went into the conference tournament and lost to Alabama in just a hard game. But we were good enough to go to a Final Four. So the postseason's potluck. The postseason's all matchups. The postseason is all figuring out a way to survive. That's it. And sometimes when you're in the situation we're in, we know that the next time we lose, the season's over. And there's other times, like the Final Four year, where we got beat by Alabama. It hurt that night. But when we woke up the next day, we knew we were going to play in the postseason. We just had to sit back and wait to see where. And, so it's a complete different regular season, conference tournament, and then whatever other tournament you play, if you're one of the lucky teams in the country. They're three completely different animals.